Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to take a look at GMT Games Storm Above the Reich, and this is a game designed by Jerry White and Mark Aston. Now this game I'm kind of interested in. It's different than your normal hex and counter game, and I always like any type of game that involves aircraft because I'm sort of into World War II aircraft anyway. This comes in a hefty 3-inch box. I mean, this is a good sized box here, and it is quite heavy in addition. Now, this is one of the games that I picked up at the GMT weekend at the warehouse, and if you've never gone to that, I highly recommend that if you get a chance, you go over there and take a look at that. So on the back here, shows us some of the map board and the layout and the cards that come with it. When you first look at this is really kind of confusing to look at, to be honest with you. I was kind of intimidated by this game, but after researching a little bit, I found that it might be kind of an interesting game and hopefully not that hard to understand. And from what I've seen and read, it really isn't. So Storm Above the Reich is a solitaire game depicting the Luftwaffe squadron of FW-190s. Struggling to deter and destroy the relentless daylight raids over Germany during World War II. And you get aircraft counters, you have bombers that you have to attack. They're always flying in a formation, so they're set up on the map board in that formation. But when you look over here at the game contents here, you get a 22 by 34 map, you get a 17 by 22 map, and they're both double-sided. You get two double-sided pursue maps, one double-sided vector map, one off-the-map display panel, one pilot roster and staff log, two counter sheets, 60 wooden blocks, two sticker sheets, 96 attack and continue fire cards, 4 bifold player aid cards, one rule book, one situation manual, and one advanced rule book, and then 2 10-sided dice. So you get a lot for your money in this game. There's a lot of stuff in here, and that's one of the reasons this box is so heavy. Unit scale is individual fighters, time scale each turn, seconds and minutes. Map scale, area movement. 1 to 2 players, 4 hours. 14 and above. Complexity is kind of low, it's at a 4. But solitaire suitability is up at a 9 because this is designed as a solitaire game. You can play it as a 2-player game, but each of you would take a different squadron. But it is designed mainly as a solitaire game, which I'm looking forward to. So let's open up this good-sized box here and check out the contents inside. If I can get it open, it's such a big box. All right. So the first thing we have is our rule book on top. So let me set this aside here. Now this is probably the intimidating part right here, is this rule book. And one of the reasons is that when you look at it, it's really heavy. It's really thick pages. It's also got 62 pages, and you can see, I don't know how much you can see there, but that's a pretty thick book. But the nice thing about this book is that when you open it up, it talks about the introduction to the game and the game mechanics, and then it goes into all of the different rules. Now it has a lot of diagrams. Every page, almost every page, well, maybe every page has diagrams here showing you all this stuff here. Now this is all good and well, and you can read through that if you want, but the designers even recommend getting started right here, that you just jump right into the training mission. You add the stickers to the blocks and you jump into the training mission, and you do that first, and then you refer back to this while you're playing the game, because on the game you have all kinds of references to what part of the rule book it is. So if you want to look it up, you can go back and look it up while you're playing the game, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and try that method. Instead of, generally I get a rule book and I'll read through the whole thing, you know, and try to, you know, see if I can understand it mentally. But in this case, I think I will do exactly what the rule book says. So not much reading here. You just read this intro here as to how the game plays and what happens, and do this getting started, and then go right into the game. So I will be filming that to let you know how that goes too. So we have the rulebook, advanced rulebook, and again, this rulebook has a lot of diagrams and examples of play in it, even in the advanced game. And it talks about this stuff. Now, this game can also play with the original one, which I think was Skies Over the Reich, but I could be wrong in saying that. I don't have that game, but if I get a chance to get it, I probably will. But this is can be added onto it or played independent of it, which is the way that I obviously will be playing it. So this is our advanced rulebook, and this is also 36 pages, but again, a lot of it is you know, examples and diagrams. So, and it's pretty large lettering too, so it doesn't take long to read a page in this manual book. Then we have the pilot's roster here, and this is just a roster that you fill out for your pilots because they can gain experience front and back. And I would imagine it has some information over here, and this is something you could easily copy and make many copies of. But there's a number of sheets here. I don't know exactly how many, but there are a number. And the back side here has your missions, year, season, map type. So this is your staffing log here, or staffel log. So then you have your situation manual. So each situation is going to have different maps, whether it's inbound, near target, or outbound. So depending on where you're attacking them, if they're coming into the target, you're attacking them before they get to it, attacking them right over the target, or attacking them when they're leaving the target as they're heading out of Germany. So a bunch of different situations here, and all of this predicates on die roll as to what situation you're going to have, and you can also change some of these because you build up tactical points, I believe they're called, throughout the game. So you can change them around through the game. So again, like I said, I've done some research on this game and I'm looking forward to playing it, but this is your situation manual and used when you start playing the game. Then we have our first set of counter sheets. These are marker counters for the different damage and things that are done to the planes, climb, dive. I imagine some awards here, rockets, to be used, cannons, and then you have the back side of that, which has different numbers on them and different values or meanings for depending on which side of the counter that you're using during the gameplay. So that's our first counter sheet. So our second counter sheet, and these are all 1-inch counters here, and we have some enemy aircraft all along here, different fallen elements. When something falls out, when the plane's starting to fall out of formation, it loses some attack value. The sun, you place that wherever the sun would happen to be. And then the back side here. So this is our second counter sheet. Then we have our turn track here. This opens up so it becomes quite, hey, that's about the best way I can show it to you there. It's horizontally. But we have a turn track, fate box here, wounded, so a lot of things can happen to your aircraft. And then you got escort display here on that one. So this is one of the many charts that you use in this game. Another fold out lengthwise chart, vector map, optional rules section. So this is for the optional rules situation. Check table here. Fate and closed zone, far and closed zones, approaching zones. So not totally sure on how all of these will work, but I will find out as I play through the game, and you guys will be following along. Speaking of following along, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get all of my latest updates on videos. And also, it does help the channel. Subscriptions do really help out the channel, and it takes nothing. Just hit that subscribe button down there and come on board. Love to have you. So the next thing we have are pursuit maps, 42 to 43, 44 to 45, so different bombers on those situations. And on the back here, group organization here, and this is pursuit map 1943 of B-24. So we have B-24s there, we have B-24s here, and we have B-24s here. So mainly B-24s attacking, which that makes sense because they had the distance. Our next player aid has a formation map 6 and 7, blast table, aim, deployed cable, which this had interesting thing about, they had cables that they would drop into the formations to get the bomber pilots to move out of formation to avoid the cables here, because that would apparently do quite a bit of damage, which I can see how they could. Bomber damage on this one, collision check, element cohesion. Then we got aerial combat table here. So we do have some aerial combat that happens when the bandits come into play. And that's another player aid. And then we come to operations menu. And this is the instructions to setting up the campaign. So these are the basic game. You follow this right here. When you start the basic game, instead of reading the whole rulebook, you follow along here. It gives you the pages as to where it talks about it in the rulebook. We have advanced game there. On the back here we have mission setup, so we're going to be rolling a lot of dice to figure out how this mission is set up. It's going to change to inbound, near target, or outbound. You're going to have die roll for ops and escorts, how many escorts are going to be coming in, and then die rolls for even the maps that we're going to use. Now this one starts with 5, 6, 7, and 8. Those are the maps that are included in this game. You can use the maps that are included in the other game, but they're not on this one because these start from 5 to 8. And this one here is all your phases, going into the phases, and then we have mission sequence of play right here. Attack phase, sequence of play. So these are all your sequence of plays, which I imagine are also on the map book, but using this gives you more of a detailed rundown as to what each does. Pursuit, sequence of play there. So as you go through, you're just following the move, returns, escort, recovery, blast and flak, cohesion, and attack. So you just follow right along here and you play through the game without having to read all of the instructions in the manual. Here we have our stickers. These are going to go onto the wooden pieces, and let me just dig those out so that I can show you them right now. These are going to go on all these blocks right here, and we have a front and a back. And we have the gray team and we have the green team here and here. So all of these are going to go on the blocks here, and you're going to be playing with these units here for all of your FW-190s and other types of planes. Even the basically wings bolted onto a rocket there and the cockpit put on top of that. Yeah, the ME-163. Yeah. And then we come to our maps, and they're both mounted maps. And we'll just look at one because they're almost the same. They're different formations, but similar. And let me see if I can get this all in the image here for you. Yeah, I think we do. We got most of it. Yeah, look at that. All right. So we have the bomber formation here. We have the different levels and areas that you can come in and attack from. This is set up, and then we have bomber damage. And we have the front side of this one. And this is map number 5. And remember where I said we were rolling for the maps? These are what you're rolling for. And this here is, where is the map number? I'm sure it's someplace. I don't see it with all of this stuff. There it is. Map number 6. All this, there's a lot of stuff to look at on these maps, and eventually it gets rather easy. But this has another formation. This map here is a little bit larger, but let's see how much of it I can get in the frame for you. So this map is quite large, and I'm not going to be able to get it all in the frame for you, but just to give you an example of the different formations, and these are the attack areas that you come in at. And this is map formation number 7 on here. And this one just has the areas that we attack. And this smaller maps here, they had sort of outline of, oh yeah, we do have a turn sequence here, sorry. We have it on both of them. And these are pretty thick maps, actually. They are really thick. And nicely mounted maps. We'll come to this side here. And here is our last map. And again, you can see that a lot of bombers there to come after, that's for sure. And this is map number 8. So I'm sure eventually I will be building up to attacking all these guys, but that's a lot of aircraft in the air at once. And that's sort of what the pilots had to go up against. We also have a pair of dice, red and black, 10-sided dice. And we have 2 decks of cards here. These are going to be the different directions of attacks, and the modifiers and all of the continuous fire and power bleed. So this gives you all the information on each attack that you do. So we have your tail attack, your head-on, the oblique attack. So we're looking forward to ripping those apart and seeing how that all works. So there you have it. That's the box opening. A Storm Above the Reich here. Let me get all of these back in here. Here's my maps, stickers, all of our player aids going back in. Our aircraft counters, our damage counters, situation manual, roster pad, or pilot roster, Storm Above Advanced Rules, and Storm Above Third Reich. Now, like I said, when you first open this box, it's really intimidating. There's a lot of stuff in here. But supposedly this is a relatively easy game. I can't say for sure because I haven't started playing it yet. I will be playing it soon, and you'll see when I start playing it. I'm actually going to film my very first game with this, following the directions. Of course, I'll do some editing so I won't bore you guys to death, but I'm looking forward to trying out this Solitaire game and seeing just how great it works. And again, this is another one of the games that I got from Weekend at the Warehouse at GMT. Great event, most enjoyable. And I bought a lot of games. You guys are going to see a lot of box openings at first, but I'm going to be starting to play, well, I've already started to play a number of them, but I will soon be filming quite a few of them. So thank you for watching this video. Please do subscribe, give the video a like if you enjoyed it at least a little bit. And I look forward to hopefully having you around for my next box opening gameplay video. Take care.